right. There we go. All right. Looking pretty good. How's everyone doing? Love this positive energy so far. This is nice. Chill vibes, chill time. Seattle. Ooh. That sounds like a good time. I still really want to visit Pike's Place. Not because of Starbucks, but just because of the market. Let's see. So, something that I would like to comment on regarding today's video, actually, the Nightwish video that I posted today. So, originally it was going to be well over an hour long because I had this intro that was about 20 plus minutes of me talking about how important learning to take criticism is, but I figured I should either save that for another video or keep it for other mediums. Like, I wanted to make it just a chill time with the video, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But ultimately, it's I hope to keep incorporating that kind of important message to others. Let's see. So, tell me, what's been happening, everyone? Tell me things. Or let's have a discussion about something. Let's talk about stuff. What would be an interesting... What's... what's new? What a great discussion topic to platform off of. It's a little nebulous, but I'll work with it. Well... Beetlejuice comes out on my birthday, so I'm excited to see that come through, and I'm going to see it with a couple of friends, which will be nice. And just taking it a day at a time, doing my best to work around copyright, I should say. Patreon has been such a nightmare trying to update and figure out and work with the nuances of, and honestly, I'm just I am so over it. But at the same time, I'm going to keep working at it until I eventually get the hang of it. But it's been causing me a myriad of problems. Just uploading content, let alone getting content actually unblocked and viewable on Patreon. So it's definitely taking some time, but I've been working with that daily, which has been nice, at least. Let's see. I started muscle building. Like, I go to the gym every day, but I've been mainly working on cardio to lose weight. And now I feel like I'm at a good enough point to actually start building muscle again. So that's really nice, and I'm really excited to keep engaging with that. I get to go trap shooting with my sister tomorrow. That'll be really nice. And yeah, not many other developments. But overall, pretty happy with how things are going right now. What about you guys? What's happening? What's new? Aside from the Seattle trip. Man, I feel like I really just need to take a very long hike. Not necessarily a long night walk, but a hike deep in the mountains. Just take in nature. No sounds of cars or airplanes or other people, just out in nature. That it sounds like bliss at this time. I've been dealing with a lot of stress recently, and it's been a little overwhelming. But honestly, I've been managing it, but I really need that time. Getting my car detailed today. Waiting for a phone call soon to pick it up. Nice. Nice. That'll be really cool. Hope it looks really good when you pick it up. Now that I mention it, I should go for more night walks. I haven't done one in a little while. Um, so, something that I really enjoy doing on night walks is I have a world that I've created for myself, a very fantastical world, just comprised of magic systems from a myriad of shows that I've seen, in combination with my own imagination and storytelling ability to create a fully fleshed story. And I love just expanding upon it, and I love it. And when I was in university, actually, that was when I took the most amount of night walks for the longest amount of time. I would take them at probably 5 to 6 days a week, and each night walk would last at minimum 2 hours, maybe 3. The longest I've ever had was 4. And it's just walking the entire time, and it was so nice. I should do more of those. Very pleasant. Chartered a sailboat on Lake Michigan. Invited a few friends. That's awesome. I've never been on. Wait, have I been on a sail? No, I have been on boats before, but I have never been on a sailboat. So that's really cool. I hope you had a great time with that. I've always been disappointed that I never had the chance to drive up to Seattle for Pike's Fish Market. Yeah, like entering a fish market is unlike anything I've ever been to. It's just that immediate fish smell, and personally, I love that overwhelming fish smell. It's just like it feels like the sea, and it's just and usually the vendors there are pretty nice. The one that I went to down in Germany, they were all about haggling. And I loved that. Like, I'm not sure if that's customary. Like, I know haggling is very customary in East Asian countries, but it wasn't anything that I was adjusted to. I'm just used to seeing here's the price, pay it. But no, haggling is an art. One of which I was ill-equipped to navigate when I first went in. Is there anything in the world that's better than going sailing? I think that's subjective, is it not? Personally, what do I think is at the top? Huh. Is there anything better than going sailing? I'd say just existing with people that you deeply care for and just appreciating their company, their presence, and enjoying those moments. I'd say there's nothing better than that for me personally. Fish juggling? Fish juggling? That's a thing? That's rather bizarre, but, you know, I'm all for it. I think it would really be nice to go fishing at some point. I've never been. And I think that'd be a lot of fun. Would I consider noodle fishing? Maybe as an experience, but no, I would prefer just be in a little boat and just go fishing. I think that sounds lovely. Excuse me. I'm exhausted. Not that I need more caffeine, but... And I've been ultimately sleeping okay. I think I just wear myself out with the amount of things that I do per day in tandem with working out pretty hard, and just I'm also introverted, so constantly doing anything I can to go out and engage with other people, try to adopt more extroverted qualities is also very draining, but very rewarding, but I'm exhausted almost all the time. How close are you from the ocean? You can drop a line from a pier. Uh, I'm actually pretty close to an ocean. And yeah, I can. But one, I need fishing equipment. I have nothing. Like I said, I've never been fishing. So I don't even have the equipment for it. But uh, I don't know. I would honestly rather be in the ocean itself. Get that full experience of it. But no, you're right. I could stop by a pier. Although I have seen many piers say or have signs indicating that you can't fish there for some reason, which I don't really understand because like are you not supposed to fish in the ocean? Where are you supposed to fish? I don't know, but uh, yeah, I mean, at least for starting out, maybe just getting a line, some bait, and going over to a pier and just vibing there. I'd be down for that. Oh my gosh, man. I saw earlier today that, I'm surprised you seem to be quite open with others during your chats. Well, so in these streams and in my videos, it's easy talking about things that I'm passionate about, like music. Uh, and it's not like I'm surrounded by other people. I have my camera, my computer, uh, and I know that I'm communicating to an audience, but it's not the same as being in person, actually engaging with flesh and blood. So it's when I'm actually out in public, I'm pretty awkward and I have a difficult time navigating through conversation. Uh, I'm reading and I'm trying to expand and grow myself, but it's not like I have in-depth knowledge in a myriad of social issues or topics that are more broad and can be really good conversation starters. And also, I find it very common that people like discussing other people, and I really do not like discussing other people. Uh, as uh, Eleanor Roosevelt had once said, large minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, little minds discuss people. And I have a quote behind me, or I used to, before I changed it. But Marie Curie, or Madame Curie, had once said something very similar, indicating people don't interest me, but ideas excite me, or something along those lines. And I'm right there with her. I really enjoy talking about different events. I really enjoy talking about ideas, concepts, philosophies, and I love driving really deep into those subjects. But just in casual conversation, I observe that people typically feel very uncomfortable going beyond surface level base conversation. And not to necessarily say that that's a bad thing, to each their own, but it's rather difficult for me to engage in that kind of conversation just because it feels so meaningless to me. And even though I have no problem sitting with someone in silence, I enjoy being in another person's company. It doesn't mean that we need to have a conversation. I find that many people do have a big problem sitting with someone else in silence. And I try to navigate that as best I can, but it's tough for me because I quite enjoy sitting in silence with other people. I get to appreciate their company while also being able to reflect and consider my thoughts, consider their thoughts if we've had a brief discussion beforehand, and reflect on things. But again, to each their own, and it's quite a challenge for me to navigate social interactions, which is why I try to do it so often, to get adjusted to it, to become better at it with more exposure and with more practice. Of course, I'm going to mess up a lot, and of course, I'm going to either hurt or offend or create uncomfortable situations for those that I'm constantly practicing with, but it's all a learning process and growth, and I think that's really important. I've got some choice freshwater fishing not more than 20 minutes from me. Oh, that's awesome. Saltwater is about to... Oh, okay. Yeah, Is there any friend... Near me, there are freshwater lakes, but those lakes are barred from fishing. It's just I'm not really too sure about it. I know that the only places that you can fish locally near me are the ocean. Is the ocean, I should say. Yeah. The ocean is more like 90 minutes. Oh, that's a bit of a drive. But honestly, I can sympathize. My favorite hiking trail to visit, and pretty much the only one that I go to for a fully reliable hiking trip that I know will give me exactly what I need. Uh, that is about a 70 to 90-minute trip by car. And honestly, when I have full days, I take that trip. I take my backpack, I take my hiking stick, and I go all the way deep into the mountains. I sit down in a nice little shaded area on one of the very large rocks near this series of pools that are just elevated, it indicates the end of the trail, essentially, because the series of pools are very steep and it's almost unclimbable, unless you are an actual rock climber, which I am not. And I just set up shop there, and I read for hours and just enjoy being there in nature and enjoy that ambiance, that atmosphere. It's beautiful. And on top of it, those pools contribute to a nearby river, and you get to hear the sound, those water sounds, and the birds, and all the little critters, and it's bliss. It is bliss. Although I will say that going to the beach and just sitting there, listening to the waves of the ocean, I can hear them now, just gorgeous. Makes me so happy, so therapeutic. I don't do that nearly enough. I should do that more often, though, to be honest. I think that'd be a really nice time, really fun. almost 30 minutes in, and we've been pretty slow so far. Not that I'm really complaining about that, just an observation. It's interesting. Maybe I should have themes, like running ideas to discuss in these live streams. Maybe that'll get people more interested than just let's let's just chill and talk and vibe. That might be an interesting idea. In Michigan, you're never more than 6 miles. That sounds actually pretty awesome. I enjoy being surrounded by water. Ironically, there's something very grounding about that. All right, John. Well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you don't make it back, but if you do, we'll be here. But yeah, hope it turns out well. Thanks for stopping by, man. But yeah, I would really love to have. Well, yeah, maybe I should start having an actual theme to these streams, like discussing a very particular topic that we can all engage with. When I was looking at other popular YouTube streams, one of the ones that I watch, and it's pretty much the only one that I actually watch on my own time, is Fresh Baked Disney, who just essentially talks about Disneyland directed things, or he talks about his family. And I think that that's really sweet, but also it does fit around the theme of Disney, and people can give their thoughts, opinions, ideas, and people really engage and really enjoy that kind of discussion. And since my live streams feel a little bit more nebulous, maybe I should have something like that where it's a little bit more targeted instead of broad. So we'll see how that goes. I had coffee this morning. Maybe I should have some tea. After this stream, I might make some tea. That sounds nice. And then I have to go run errands and then work out. And that'll be a lot. Never kicked all the way in. Huh. I'm sorry your feed didn't hold up to your expectations. Sometimes the system is a little funky, I would imagine. Not that I know anything about how the system operates. Yeah, but this does feel like a really chill stream right now. To really screw things up requires a computer? I beg to differ. You are looking at a walking mistake. But at least I learn and grow and do my best. I think that's what matters. Living in the present, not the past, not the future. All that good stuff. Oh, yeah, something that I'm really excited for that only the people that watch these live streams are going to get to know, which isn't a lot, which is why I'm really excited to announce this. I have been in talks with another popular vocal slash singer YouTuber, and we are going to hopefully have an interview slash just conversation in the upcoming weeks, and I'm really excited to record that and get through that, and it'll be really cool. I'm really excited to have him on. I really can't believe that, because I reach out to other vocal YouTubers and just more voice singing YouTubers to see if there's anything that we can set up. And I usually expect no response. So the fact that I got one, and from one who is on the more successful side of voice, is really, really exciting. So I'm happy to host him for an interview. That'll be really cool. And I'm really excited to share that with you guys once I actually film it and edit it and all this stuff. It'll be really great. Yes. Ow. I'm still sore from yesterday, but excuse me. I'm exhausted, dude. Oh my goodness gracious. But I'm really happy that we're all doing pretty good. That we're just here, chilling, vibing, relaxing together, appreciating each other's company. There's something actually pretty therapeutic about that. Even if it is through technology. Like, I'd obviously much prefer to have it be in person. I think that actually fulfills a greater emotional and mental, or spiritual in some cases, I suppose, just a human connection. Kind of like, I remember I was reading in Jonathan Haidt's book, The Righteous Mind, where he was discussing the importance of something our ancestors used to do, where they would just dance around a bonfire with some primitive drums and some primitive styles of singing, but ultimately that connected people as a group, as a community, and there didn't need to be a particular reason for it. It's just what connected people. And we still have that in varying forms today. Like, going to a sporting event kind of gives us a very similar feeling. Or just going to a place where a group of people with a similar goal that you have, or a similar mindset that you have, in order to appreciate that thing that you're going to attend together. There's something very connecting about, like, as a human connection about events like that. And I find importance in all of those types of events, regardless of whatever the thematic structure of it is. Doing the dance of joy. Yeah, honestly. The joy of being alive. The joy of being a human being. The joy of recognizing that you have the consciousness to realize that you get to enjoy something, which I think is a privilege in and of itself. Like, consciousness is a discussion that I would like to go very in depth on, mainly because my view of consciousness is both deep, but hasn't really even scratched the surface as to what I'm sure others might have reflected on in terms of consciousness. But man, that's a rabbit hole. How do we express our consciousness as beings? It's a really interesting discussion topic. Um, how do we define morality? How do we structure ethics? What are pre-programmed in us from birth, and how do we manipulate and potentially pervert different intrinsic qualities to adapt it to what we want out of ourselves? And it's just a whole, there's so many different sub discussions that could be branched from the discussion of consciousness and what it means to be a human being. And man, I would love to get as many points of view about that topic as possible. That's actually part of the reason why I really want to travel the world and talk to other people and learn other languages and talk to other people in their languages, so I can understand how it is that they see the world. So I can understand not just from a cultural perspective, even though that's really important, but also just from an individual perspective who engages in their culture, what it means to be a human being, how they view consciousness, and how it is that they choose to interact with others, or what is allowed and not allowed in their society to engage with others. There's a lot of beauty in that, in just the human condition, and how a myriad of people express the human condition in a myriad of ways. And I think there's something really beautiful about that. We have what is called a block party, so a city block or 2 blocks chunk of street, and we have bands, disc jockeys, and food. Oh man, like I've definitely attended block parties before, but they're not common where I live, so that's really awesome. I have to say, the best block party I've ever attended, and keep in mind, I've never been to Philly, but the best one that I've ever attended was in New Orleans, and it was right after Mardi Gras, where it wasn't the day after. People still had some recuperating time. It was more like a couple of weeks after, but people were getting back into the groove of things, and it was just music out on the streets, people dancing, people vibing, people enjoying each other's time and company, eating a few beignets, drinking some coffee, and just having a good time, just being with other people and appreciating those moments, not having to quarrel or fight with other people, not arguing about certain views or whatever. It's just people enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying each other's company. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Something I've realized, or rather have observed throughout my time, is seeing that people generally have this idea of this is what a utopia is, and no matter how we're going to get to it, we're going to get to it. And those are the people that do not look at history. You know, there have been revolutions fought over society has failed us, we need a revolution to completely overhaul everything. And then the revolution is either won or lost, but regardless, it's regardless of if it's won or lost, it's the outcome is either the same or worse. And it's usually only after actually realizing that people come together and say, yeah, arguing and fighting was not the way to go. We need to actually figure out real, pragmatic, workable solutions that are not based solely in emotion, that were capable of structuring the complexity and nuances of society in a way that's more realistic, that actually benefits the majority. And it's very difficult to do that, and I'm not saying that in modern society we have everything worked out, but I can tell you for absolute certainty that the society we live in today is considerably better suited for people to thrive in than if we were out in nature fending for our lives all the time. True that. Yeah, absolutely. I'm every time I wake up in the morning, as groggy and as exhausted as I feel, I get up, I do my thing, and the moment that I take a step out of my apartment and I look out beyond the horizon, because when I look out, I look out into the east, so the sun is rising, and I wake up usually before sunrise, so it's really nice just to be able to step outside and watch the warmth of the light just come right over the horizon, and it's just makes me so happy. Makes me so happy just to feel the warmth of the sun. But also, I love it. I love being able to sit on a hilltop or something and being able to look at the sunset in the west. And the moment it does, I just lie back, look up at the sky, and just appreciate and am so grateful for everything that I have. I'm so grateful that I don't live in a country completely consumed by war. I'm so grateful that I have all of my limbs to be able to do what I want when I want to do it. I'm grateful to have a loving family, even though a very strong and trustworthy friend group, to have the talents and skills that I've refined throughout my life. Yes, there's a bunch of things that I can complain about and feel frustrated and angered by just on a personal level, but that ultimately doesn't really do anything for me. Like, I can utilize that anger and transform it into action if I'm really passionate about changing some of those aspects, which I'm sure I will be later down the line. But right now I feel just very pleased with the fact that I'm constantly working for betterment, for improvement, that I have the space and room necessary to do so in a way that feels right and authentic to me. Like, I find myself to be very privileged in a myriad of ways, and that's actually a contributing reason as to why I really don't need material goods or possessions, because whenever I do buy something for myself that isn't food, and I look at the object that I wanted, I think, like, the more that I look at it, or the more that I harbor it, rather, it's just the more hollow it feels. Like I was mentioning, just existing in a space with people you deeply care for, I really can't think of anything better than that. Something so beautiful about the human condition, human potential, human connection. Makes my heart sing. You ever hear or listen of Bosole? New Orleans based Acadian band. To that one. I haven't, but I'll be sure to look in. Excuse me. I'll be sure to look into that. Excuse me. I'm really doing my best here. But yeah, tell me more things, guys. Tell me recent events that's been happening in your neck of the woods, or any interests that spark your intrinsic curiosity, or anything. Yeah, let's just talk about stuff. We are officially 45 minutes in. Nice. And if this trend of just kind of staying roughly at this viewership continues, we might end it a little early today. I'm pretty tired, but at the same time, I can't use that as an excuse to leave because I still have so much that I have to do today. Like, I already filmed and edited the video for tomorrow, I believe, where I'm really excited to post that one. I think it's a really good one. I think, yeah, it's a good one. Had to think about that for a second. Blue, you make it seem like other people are commenting in the chat. Some people are just here to vibe, and I respect it. I do the same thing in live streams. I really, whenever I join someone's live stream, like that Disney live stream that I listen to, I usually just sit in. I really don't comment either. So, for the rest of you watching, I sympathize. It's all good. Man. But I don't know. We'll see. Oh, snap. That was a lot faster than I thought you'd get back. Welcome back, man. Glad to have you here. It was really interesting. Well, I don't know how interesting it might be to everyone else, but it's interesting to me. When I was younger, I really wanted to be a roller coaster designer just because I love rides, especially roller coasters. And it wasn't until my older sister went to college for opera that I knew that I wanted to do the same thing. I always loved music, but I also loved rides, and I knew that being an engineer for rides was an actual profession. I didn't think you can actually make a profession out of being a musician. And when she went to college for opera, I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And I did it, and I graduated. And then I went out into the world and I started performing, and I started performing for better opera houses over time. Started really small and started working my way up. and I was doing a really, really good job, and I was competing and performing, and it felt really good. And then, but it just wasn't freaking sustainable. And on top of that, I hated the environment. Oh my gosh, it was miserable. Like, when I engage with music, I engage with music because I love music. But when I was competing and auditioning for roles, the cutthroat environment, the fact that people would, without second thought, step on you to get ahead, I'm like, why are you even using music as the vessel? Music isn't here to rip people apart. It's to build bridges. But I guess everybody has their own internalization as to what music actually means. Or maybe they just lost sight of what music it actually reflects. But whatever the case is, I broke away from the music scene because I just wanted to enjoy music in a way that was authentic for me, which is what the channel is right now. Just me enjoying music in a way that I like to enjoy it. Uh, let's see. They don't work a set list. It was 2 miles. Okay. I see. Awesome. But yeah. Um, I I don't know how I'm going to necessarily grow this channel though. Like, I feel like these videos, these live streams themselves are a really solid way to engage with the audience. But the more I think about it, the more I want to say that honestly, maybe just Q&A videos where I implore the audience to write down comments that they might have, and I just make a full video about it addressing their questions and comments. And I think that that would be a pretty cool thing. Plus, it would give me the opportunity to actually edit out some of my stalling words, like and make it a little bit of a cleaner video. You mentioned you got your singing classes up and running. Wish you the best in your endeavor. Thank you. I used to actually have a voice studio for a really long time. It was my side hustle when I was in university, and after the fact. But I had to stop it. But yeah, in my last couple of videos, the link is in the description to set up voice lessons if there are people out there that are interested in taking voice lessons with me. And I'm really excited to get the ball rolling on that. In comparison to other voice teachers at my level, I think I'm very affordable. You know, my last voice teacher was a wonderful vocalist. He is a wonderful vocalist. Very knowledgeable, especially about the very intricate technicalities of not just singing, but of vocal pedagogy and vocal anatomy. and he did such an incredible job explaining all of the intricacies of that and learning to control each individual element. And he was $120 a lesson. So I didn't study with him for the majority of my my singing career, but I'd say most of my teachers charged $100 a lesson. And my voice lessons would be roughly in that range, maybe a little bit cheaper, just because I know the struggle, but yeah, it's roughly that. I'm listening to you while making dinner. Aw, that's really sweet. Chicken soup. Nice. Nice. Well, I hope that I am entertaining enough for to provide company for you during your dinner making process, your meal prep. Soup sounds awesome. I should get ramen tonight. Oh, that sounds so good. And I can get takoyaki. Oh, yeah. Oh, that sounds awesome. I would love to do that. But, oh. I can save to maybe go out with friends for Korean barbecue. That would be really good too. For those that don't know, my favorite cuisines are pretty much East Asian. I love Chinese cuisine, Japanese cuisine, Filipino cuisine. Those are my favorite cuisines, but I really enjoy Indian cuisine. Californian cuisine is actually surprisingly better than I thought it was. It's really solid. I love the freshness of the ingredients there. Texas barbecue. And New Orleans cuisine sings to my heart, dude. Yeah. Love Korean yeah, right? Korean barbecue. First time I ever had it, I was really confused, like, why is there a grill in the middle of the table? But, man, but I had it pretty early on in my life, too. I had it when I was, I want to say, 8 or 9. That was also the time that I had started getting into anime. So when I saw characters in the anime have food similar to that at barbecue restaurants, I learned from there, and I just enjoyed the process. Yeah, KBBQ with all of the side dishes. Oh, and just the meats. Bulgogi. My heart sings. My heart. Cheesy broccoli. Oh my gosh. My favorite rendition of that is broccoli cheddar. Oh, yes. That nice creamy consistency. The broccoli just pairs so well with it. Really great texture. Oh my gosh. My mouth is watering. I actually visited an izakaya not too long ago. Loved that experience. So good. Honestly, something that I've been thinking about more recently is learning to cook better. Not to say that I don't know how to cook. I absolutely do, and I think I'm a decent cook, but there are some bad habits that I've been trying to get rid of, and I think in order to put my mind towards something else and not maintain these negative habits or respond to certain cues in my day with these negative habits, I can better transition them into something a little bit more productive, like being a better cook or spending more time reading, or I don't know, it's just something more productive than my bad habits. So, we'll see. It's obviously going to be very difficult to get out of a particular routine, especially with ones that feel as inveterate as the habits that I have now are. But I think being a good cook would be a really nice way to uh, allocate some of my financial resources from one bad habit into a more constructive habit that wouldn't only make me personally more fulfilled and happy, but actually make others happy should I cook for them. So I think that'd be really cool. I make a mean barbecued pulled pork. Ah, pulled pork is incredible. If made right. I've had some really dry, horrible pulled pork. But if made right, sings to my soul, dude. Had Chinese last week. Being one of the leading institutions with Chinese. Oh, right on, right on. Something that I was thinking about was being an English teacher in China for a while. But honestly, I was actually a substitute teacher where I presently live for a while, and teaching isn't in the cards for me. Because the discussions and conversations that I want to have, the students more often than not just wouldn't be in a place to have those conversations, especially if I have a particular curriculum that I need to stick to. Yeah, I would get way too lost in actual discussions. But again, to actually visit and to engage with people in meaningful, full conversation, I think would be really, really nice. A YouTuber I watch actually had many experiences in China, and he actually was a teacher for a bunch of Chinese students, and he got to connect with them in very interpersonal ways, and I found that to be rather beautiful. When I am in need of morale or moral support, I bake. That's great. Baking is a very precise art. It's all done by measurements, and the thing that actually got me into cooking was my now ex-girlfriend, where at the time she was Filipina, and she taught me all of the Asian techniques of cooking, which is essentially just all eyeballing. But I had a lot of fun being able to cook a bunch of different types of Filipino cuisine dishes, and it was I really enjoyed myself in that process. The thing I didn't like was how long it took in order to produce quality meals, which is, I want to say, the actual reason why I fell out of it. But aside from just patience, if I had the patience and had really enjoyed the time commitment to actually creating something of exceptional value in terms of that kind of food, then maybe I would have enjoyed the process a lot more. My friend retired and was offered to teach English in China. Said the culture was eye-opening. Yeah, I mean, I would the biggest point of traveling in general is to be able to step outside of your milieu, be able to step outside of not just yourself but your culture. And that's the beautiful thing about traveling. And it's not just traveling to China that would be eye-opening. You can travel to any different country. Traveling to Germany for me was eye-opening. Having friends and colleagues comment on their culture was eye-opening. There's a pretty popular YouTuber named Xiaoma, who is a linguist, and watching his experiences has been very insightful. So ultimately, I think just stepping outside of your milieu and actually engaging with an open mind and open heart, not going into a land and saying, you guys are all wrong, you need to listen to what my morals are and accept them because I know that I'm right, but rather just allowing yourself the openness of listening to another culture's perspective, understanding that to them, respect means these things. To them, honor and integrity mean these things. And this is how they live up to them. This is the value and importance that they put into these elements of life, where in Western society, we put value into these other elements of life. And ultimately, I think exposing yourself to more cultures, more ways of life, will give you the tools necessary for you to figure out for yourself what is it that is truly important to you, that is of true value, that you want to set out to achieve in order to not just achieve a certain status in life, but actually achieve a fulfilling life. And that's a much more nuanced and individualistic question that each of us needs to answer for ourselves. Have you ever had Moroccan food? And I am Moroccan, by the way. Oh, that's awesome. I know that I've had it at some point. I just don't remember when I have, which means that I need to have it again. So I would love the opportunity to try Moroccan food. Yeah. Because ultimately, something that I found is, even if the majority of the cuisine of a particular culture is something that I don't like, there's usually something in the cuisine that I can not only eat, but actually enjoy. So, I like, some of the spice in Jamaican cuisine goes really hard. And I love spice, but some of that spice is intense. Very similar to some Korean spice. Like, gochujang is, like, just in its purest state, is just, some people just dredge stuff it, or, oh my gosh. It's just, some people just destroy their dishes with that. And it's so overwhelming. But, I can still dig it. There's a Polish gal that filmed her drive to Alaska. Wow. I mean, that's awesome. I love it when people just take the time to travel. When I was actually coming home from the first time from Germany, I was sitting next to, and I'm pretty sure I already told this story, but I was sitting next to a girl from Germany, and the entire flight from Germany to the USA, we were just talking the entire time. And she is very well traveled, and when I still had social media, I would check on her posts from time to time. And she was always in a new place, exploring new parts of the world. She was only bilingual, only knowing German and English, but that didn't stop her from fully experiencing the rest of the world. And I take great inspiration from her to not just say, yeah, I'm going to travel someday, but actually just saying, I'm going to do it now. I'm just going to go out and enjoy my life, enjoy everything that I can right now. And I think that that's so inspiring. Have you tried... Oh, yeah, okay. I will say, though, so there was a man that my mother deeply respected, and he was a doctor who had served as a doctor pretty much throughout the entirety of his life. And he wasn't only just a doctor, but he was a doctor that had saved countless lives during war. He was a doctor that served in prisons that even the inmates respected. He was both kind and caring, but also very strong and powerful. Not just in his demeanor, but in his words, in how he commanded control of situations. Even though his... Like, he had a broad build, but he wasn't, like, big in any way. Like, built. And as he was dying, on his deathbed, he asked for his last meal, and he actually ended up getting it. And his last meal, I'll never forget it, was a Costco hot dog with a Coke. That was so profound to me, for some reason. Just saying, there's not only something very nostalgic about that, and the ingredients for the Costco hot dog are good, and I think they're very, like, it's quality. But when I think about that, I think about, yeah, you know, it's nice to have a last meal. But ultimately, I would consider that to be very similar to my philosophy on items, material goods, and possessions. It's just not that important to me. It would be nice to go out with a bang, obviously, but yeah, the more that I think about it, just, I want to enjoy my life now, and I don't want to enjoy all of it when I'm on my deathbed, you know? I just want to appreciate everything in the moment. I don't want to live in the future when I'm inevitably going to die. I don't want to live in the past where I've made countless mistakes and I've had my own successes and failures. I just want to live here, now, in the present, with what I'm doing, and enjoying the food in the present. I think that's the way to live. But yeah. Speaking of food, just in the present though. I had breakfast this morning, so I'm going to burn that off in my workout today. And then later on tonight, yeah, I'll actually go to the market, pick up some stuff, and actually cook something. It's been a little while since I have, so I think that'll be really nice. But, oh my goodness gracious. I need to stop overexerting myself. I am so exhausted. And more caffeine is not the answer. It's just proper exertion. But with all of that said, I think we're going to wrap up the stream a little early tonight. It'll allow me some time to get some stuff together and to keep moving forward. Yeah, the battery is progressively dying. Thank you for asking, John. Yeah, so I think we're gonna call the stream a little early tonight. So I want to take this time to appreciate all of you being here and just hanging out, having a good time, vibing. If you guys have any questions or anything that you'd like me to answer in the future, go ahead and comment them in either upcoming videos for the week or in the next live stream. I'll probably gauge the next few streams to see if these streams are really something that hold up, or if I should just transition to Q&A videos where there might be a little bit more engagement from the audience. But we'll see. We'll see. But until then, I want to appreciate all of you guys for being here. It really does mean a lot to me. I never expected my live streams to have any more than one person, to be honest. So the fact that all of you are here watching these videos, it means a lot. So thank you guys so much. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I've heard of that name, Gabriel Henrique, but no, I haven't heard him yet. But thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.